The bathroom door splintered under Marcus Chen's fist, and Isabella knew this time would be different. This time he wouldn't stop. She pressed herself against the cold tile wall, phone clutched in trembling hands, mascara streaking down her cheeks in black rivers. The wedding ring on her finger caught the harsh fluorescent light, a circle of gold that had become a shackle. Outside, Marcus's voice cut through the wood like a blade. "Open this door, Isabella. Don't make this worse than it already is." Her fingers moved across the phone screen, muscle memory, dialing what she thought was her friend Sophie's number. The text came out in desperate fragments. "Help me, 1247 Harbour View Drive, Unit 605. He's going to kill me this time. Please come." The reply came within seconds. "Unknown number, wrong contact. Stay where you are, I'm coming, 12 minutes. Another message immediately followed. "Lock the bathroom door if you haven't already. Stay away from the window. Don't respond to him, 12 minutes. Isabella stared at the screen, her mind racing through confusion and terror. Who was this? But before she could process anything, Marcus's shoulder hit the door with the full weight of his 200 pounds. The frame cracked. She could see his face through the gap now, rage twisting his features into something unrecognizable from the man she'd married 4 years ago. "Who are you texting?" His voice dropped to that dangerous quiet that always preceded the worst violence. "Give me the phone, Isabella, now." The door gave way with a final crash. Marcus filled the doorway, his police uniform shirt half unbuttoned, his service weapon visible on his hip. He'd come straight from his shift, which meant he'd been drinking at McLaren's bar with his cop buddies first. She could smell the whiskey on him from 6 feet away. "I asked you a question." He stepped inside, glass crunching under his boots from the mirror she'd broken during the last fight. "Who were you texting?" Isabella's voice came out as a whisper. "Sophie, just Sophie." He moved fast, too fast for her to dodge. His hand locked around her wrist, squeezing until she cried out and dropped the phone. He snatched it up, his eyes scanning the screen. She watched his expression shift from rage to something worse, calculation. "Who the hell is this?" He turned the phone toward her, showing her own desperate message. "What number is this?" "I don't know, I thought it was Sophie, I mistyped." His backhand caught her across the cheek, snapping her head to the side. She tasted blood. "You're lying, you think I'm stupid, you think I don't know what you're trying to do." He grabbed her by the hair, dragging her out of the bathroom into the living room. "You want to leave me, you want to embarrass me. Do you know what happens to my career if people find out my wife is trying to run?" He threw her onto the couch. Her cello stood in the corner, silent witness to years of abuse. Concert posters from her old life lined the walls, reminders of the woman she used to be before Marcus Chen made her small. "My brother is a detective." Marcus paced in front of her like a caged animal. "My captain plays golf with the district attorney. You know how many domestic calls get buried in this city. You know how many women just disappear." He pulled his gun from its holster, not pointing it at her but setting it on the coffee table between them. "A promise, a threat. Nobody is coming to save you, Isabella. Nobody cares, you're mine." The phone buzzed in his hand. He looked at it and his face went dark. 2 minutes, stay in the bathroom, get down." "What the fuck did you do?" Marcus's voice went quiet again, and Isabella's heart hammered against her cracked ribs. "What did you do?" Then the power went out. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing everything in red. Marcus spun, reaching for his weapon on the table, but he was too slow. The front door didn't break or crash open. It simply unlocked from the outside with a soft click, and 6 figures in black tactical gear flowed into the apartment like smoke. Silent, professional, terrifying. They moved with military precision, securing corners, checking rooms, weapons up but not firing. And then another man walked through the door, and Isabella's breath caught in her throat. He wore a tailored black suit that probably cost more than her car, soaked through with rain. His dark hair was slicked back, water dripping down a face that could have been carved from stone. Asian features, late 30s, with eyes that looked like they could see straight through to your soul. He moved like violence barely contained, like a predator wearing human skin. Those eyes found Isabella immediately, and something shifted in his expression. Recognition, possession, fury. "Isabella Reeves." His voice was smooth, cultured, with the barest hint of an accent. He said her maiden name, the one she'd buried when she married Marcus. How did he know that name? Marcus grabbed for his gun, but one of the tactical team already had a weapon pressed to his temple. Marcus froze, his cop training warring with his rage. "I'm a police officer. You have no idea what you're doing. This is my wife, my home, and you're committing about 15 felonies right now." The man in the suit crossed the room in 3 fluid strides and drove his fist into Marcus's solar plexus with surgical precision. Marcus crumpled, gasping for air on his knees. "Your wife," the stranger said softly, "sent a message asking for help. I'm here to provide it." He turned to Isabella, extending his hand. Up close, she could see the tattoos peeking out from under his collar, the scars on his knuckles, the cold intelligence in his eyes. "My name is Dante Kang. You texted me for help. I'm here." Isabella's voice shook. "I don't know you. I texted the wrong number." "No," his intensity was overwhelming, like standing too close to a fire. "There are no accidents, Isabella. You texted me because somewhere deep down you knew you needed someone who would actually come, not police who protect their own, not friends who tell you to work it out, someone who would burn down the entire world to keep you safe." "I don't understand." Dante's eyes never left hers. "You will, but first we need to leave now." Marcus was struggling to his feet, his face purple with rage and lack of oxygen. "You can't just take her. I'll have every cop in the city looking for you. I'll destroy you." Dante finally looked at him, and the temperature in the room seemed to drop. "No, Marcus, I'm going to destroy you, but slowly, methodically, the way you deserve." He nodded to his team. "Secure him. Make sure our friends in the department get a very detailed anonymous tip about the evidence they'll find in this apartment." "What evidence?" Marcus snarled. "There's nothing here." One of the tactical team members pulled out a small bag from Marcus's own coat pocket. "White powder." Marcus's eyes went wide. "That's not mine. You planted that." "Prove it." Dante turned back to Isabella, his voice softening just slightly. "We need to go. Trust me or don't, but staying here means you die. Tonight or tomorrow or next week, but you die. Come with me and you live." Isabella looked at Marcus on his knees, at the strangers in tactical gear, at this impossible man offering her an impossible choice. Every instinct screamed danger, but she'd been in danger for 4 years. At least this danger was offering her a way out. She took Dante's hand. His fingers closed around hers, warm and solid, and she felt something shift in the universe, like a door closing on one life and opening to another. "Good girl," he murmured, and led her toward the door. Behind them, Marcus was screaming threats and promises of revenge. Dante didn't even look back. Isabella's last view of her apartment was Marcus being zip-tied by professional soldiers, while her cello stood silent in the corner, and she wondered if she'd just escaped one prison for another. The elevator ride down was silent except for the soft breathing of Dante's team. Isabella counted 6 of them plus Dante, all Asian, all moving with the same controlled lethality. They flanked her like she was precious cargo, which she supposed she was now. "Where are you taking me?" she asked quietly. "Somewhere safe." "That's not an answer." Dante glanced at her, a hint of approval in his eyes. "Somewhere Marcus Chen and his entire corrupt police family can't reach you, somewhere you can heal." The elevator opened into the parking garage. 3 black SUVs waited, engines running, windows tinted so dark they looked like holes in reality. Rain pounded on the concrete, the storm matching the chaos in Isabella's chest. Dante guided her to the middle vehicle, his hand on her lower back. Not pushing, just present. She climbed in and he slid in beside her. The door closed with a heavy thunk that sounded like finality. As they pulled out into the rain-slicked streets, Isabella caught sight of police cars arriving at her building, lights flashing. She watched through the rear window as they swarmed toward the entrance. "Your husband is about to have a very bad night," Dante said calmly. "The drugs we planted will be found. His brother, the detective, will try to cover it up, of course. But by morning there will be anonymous leaks to 3 different news organizations. Body camera footage from previous calls to your apartment that mysteriously got erased. Medical records, witness statements. Marcus Chen's career ends tonight." Isabella turned to stare at him. "You did all that in 12 minutes. "No, I did all that over the past 3 years. Tonight I just activated it." The words hit her like ice water. 3 years, you've been watching me for 3 years. 5, actually. But I only started building the case against your husband 3 years ago, after the hospital visit where you claimed you fell downstairs. His voice was matter-of-fact, like he was discussing the weather. You didn't fall. He pushed you, broke 3 ribs and gave you a concussion. The attending physician noted defensive wounds on your arms. Those notes got buried. How do you know all this? Dante turned to look at her fully, and in the dim light of the SUV, his face was beautiful and terrible. Because I know everything about you, Isabella. Your favorite color is deep blue. You take your coffee with cream but no sugar. You have a birthmark on your left shoulder blade. You played cello at Carnegie Hall when you were 19. You gave up a scholarship to Juilliard to marry Marcus Chen because he convinced you that love meant sacrifice. Isabella's blood ran cold. You're insane. Probably, he didn't look away. 5 years ago I attended a charity gala. The entertainment was a string quartet. You played Shostakovich's cello concerto. I'd never heard anything like it. You played like you were bleeding the notes onto that stage. His voice dropped, became almost reverent. I couldn't look away. After the performance I made inquiries, found out you just married a police officer. I told myself to let it go, that you were safe, settled, happy. But you didn't let it go. No, because 6 months later I saw you perform again at a smaller venue. You'd lost weight, wore long sleeves in August, your smile looked like it hurt. His jaw clenched. I had my people look deeper. That's when I found the first police report, the accidental fall. I wanted to kill him that night. Isabella pressed herself against the door, as far from him as the SUV allowed. So what, you've been stalking me for 5 years, waiting for your chance to what, kidnap me? Not kidnap, save. He leaned back, giving her space, reading her fear. I put a trace on your old phone number, the one you kept from before your marriage. I've been waiting for you to reach out, for you to be ready to leave. I never thought you'd text me by accident. I didn't text you, I texted my friend Sophie. You transposed 2 numbers. Sophie's number ends in 47, mine ends in 74. He pulled out his phone, showed her. The number was saved under a contact name that made her heart stop. Isabella, emergency only. You put my name in your phone 5 years ago. I told you, there are no accidents. He pocketed the phone. You texted me because some part of you knew the regular channels wouldn't work, that calling 911 meant sending more cops to protect a cop, that your friends couldn't stand against Marcus's violence. You needed someone outside the system, someone with resources and absolutely no moral boundaries when it comes to protecting what's mine. I'm not yours. His smile was cold. Not yet, but you will be. The SUV turned into an underground parking structure, descending level after level until they were deep beneath the city. The vehicle stopped in front of a private elevator, all polished steel and camera surveillance. Dante got out first, then offered his hand. Isabella ignored it and climbed out on her own, wincing as her ribs protested. He noticed, of course, noticed everything. Dr. Lin is waiting upstairs. She'll examine you, treat your injuries. He gestured to the elevator. After you. Isabella had no choice. She stepped inside and Dante followed, pressing a button that required both a keycard and a fingerprint scan. The elevator rose smoothly, quickly. When the doors opened, she gasped. The penthouse was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the entire city, rain streaming down the glass like tears. Minimalist furniture, expensive art, a grand piano in one corner, and in another corner, impossibly, her cello. How, she walked toward it like a dreamer, reaching out to touch the familiar wood. This was in my apartment 10 minutes ago. I sent a secondary team while we were extracting you. They retrieved your personal items, clothes, photos, your music. Dante moved to a bar, poured 2 glasses of whiskey. Everything Marcus would have destroyed in his rage. He offered her a glass. She didn't take it. I don't drink. You do tonight. He set both glasses on a side table. Dr. Lin will be here in 5 minutes. There's a bedroom through that door, a bathroom attached. Everything you need is already there. Clothes in your size, toiletries, medication. How do you know my size? Isabella, he said her name like a prayer. I know everything. A woman in her 60s entered from another room, medical bag in hand. Dr. Grace Lin had kind eyes and efficient hands, the sort of doctor who'd seen everything and judged nothing. Mrs. Chen, I'm here to examine you. Shall we use the bedroom? Isabella nodded mutely, following Dr. Lin away from Dante's overwhelming presence. As the bedroom door closed, she heard him making phone calls in rapid Korean, his voice hard and commanding. The bedroom was larger than her entire previous apartment. King-sized bed, silk sheets, another wall of windows. Dr. Lin gestured to the bed. "Please sit, let me look at you." The examination was thorough but gentle. Cracked ribs, severe bruising, minor concussion, defensive wounds on her arms. Dr. Lin said nothing, just made notes and wrapped Isabella's ribs with practiced efficiency. "You're safe here," the doctor said finally. "Mr. Kang is many things, but he protects what he values, and he values you very highly." "He doesn't even know me." Dr. Lin's smile was sad. "He knows you better than you think, and what he doesn't know he'll learn. That's how he operates. Complete information, total control." She packed up her supplies. "The medications are on the nightstand. Pain pills, antibiotics, sleeping pills if you need them. I'll check on you tomorrow." After Dr. Lin left, Isabella sat on the edge of the enormous bed, her mind spinning. 5 years. He'd been watching her for 5 years, building a case against Marcus, waiting for her to reach out. It was obsessive, disturbing, terrifying. But he'd come. When she texted that wrong number, he'd come with soldiers and precision and absolute certainty. No questions, no hesitation, just immediate, overwhelming action. Marcus had promised to protect and serve, and he'd served her nothing but pain. This stranger had promised nothing and delivered salvation. If you're finding this story gripping, hit that subscribe button now, because this is just the beginning, and you won't want to miss what happens next when Isabella discovers exactly who Dante Kang really is and what he's willing to do to keep her. Isabella didn't sleep that first night. She sat by the window watching the city lights blur through rain and exhaustion, every sound making her jump. Around 3 in the morning, she heard the elevator and footsteps in the living area. Dante's voice, low and controlled, speaking in English now. "I want 24-hour surveillance on Marcus Chen. If he so much as looks in Isabella's direction, I want to know. And find out which judges his brother has in his pocket. I want names by morning." A pause, then another voice, male, slightly older, also Korean accented. "Sir, the media leak is scheduled for 6 a.m. All 3 networks have the story. Body cam footage, medical records, the planted evidence. Chen's captain is already getting calls." "Good, make sure the drug charge sticks. I want him in lockup for at least 48 hours before bail. That gives us time to move on his brother." "And the woman?" Silence. Isabella held her breath. "She stays here with me. No one gets within a mile of this building without my approval. Understand?" "Yes, sir." The footsteps retreated. The elevator descended. Then Isabella heard Dante's softer footfalls approaching the bedroom door. He didn't knock, didn't enter, just stood outside for a long moment before walking away. She found him the next morning in the kitchen, wearing black slacks and a white dress shirt, sleeves rolled up to reveal more tattoos. Dragons and symbols she didn't recognize, beautiful and threatening. He was making coffee with the focus of someone performing surgery. "You didn't sleep," he said without turning around. "How do you know?" "I hear everything in this apartment." He poured 2 cups, added cream to one. "No sugar," he remembered. "Come eat." The breakfast spread was elaborate. Fresh fruit, pastries, eggs cooked 3 different ways. Isabella's stomach growled despite her anxiety. "I'm not hungry." "You haven't eaten in 24 hours. Your body is healing. You need food." He pulled out a chair, waiting. "Please." The please surprised her. She sat, and he placed the coffee in front of her exactly how she liked it. The small gesture felt more intimate than it should have. Dante sat across from her, his own coffee black. He didn't eat, just watched her with that unnerving intensity. "You have questions," he said. "Ask them." Isabella wrapped her hands around the warm mug. "Who are you, really?" "I told you, my name is Dante Kang. I run international business operations, shipping, logistics, acquisitions." "That's not an answer." His smile was cold. "I'm what you'd call organized crime. My family has controlled certain operations in this city for 3 generations. Imports, exports, protection, information. I don't deal drugs, I don't traffic people, and I don't allow innocents to be harmed in my territory. Beyond that, I do what's necessary to maintain power." The casual admission should have terrified her. Instead, she felt a strange relief at his honesty. "So you're a criminal?" "I operate outside legal constraints, yes, but your husband is also a criminal, Isabella. He just has a badge to hide behind. At least I'm honest about what I am." He pulled out a tablet, slid it across the table. On screen, a news broadcast. Marcus's face filled the frame, his mugshot from last night. The headline read, "Police officer arrested on drug charges, domestic violence investigation underway." Isabella's hands shook as she watched. The reporter detailed the evidence found in Marcus's apartment, the mysterious leak of body camera footage showing officers responding to domestic disturbance calls at her address, medical records, witness statements from neighbors who'd heard screaming. "His career is over," Dante said quietly. "By noon, he'll be suspended pending investigation. His brother, Detective Raymond Chen, is currently being questioned about evidence tampering. Their entire precinct is under scrutiny." "You did this in one night?" "No, I've been building this for 3 years. Last night I just pressed the button." He leaned forward. "Marcus Chen hurt you 7 documented times, Isabella. 7 times you went to the hospital or called the police, and 7 times it disappeared. I made sure it won't disappear anymore." Tears burned her eyes. Why do you care?" His expression softened just slightly. "Because 5 years ago I watched you play Shostakovich and saw someone with a soul that beautiful. And 6 months later I saw that soul being crushed. I've done terrible things in my life, Isabella, unforgivable things, but I draw lines, and men who break beautiful things cross those lines." He stood, carrying his coffee to the window. "You'll stay here until it's safe. I have lawyers working on a restraining order, divorce papers, everything you'll need. Marcus will be in jail for at least a week on the drug charges, longer if we're lucky. That gives us time." "Time for what?" He turned to face her, backlit by the grey morning light. "Time for you to decide what you want. Revenge, freedom, a new life, I can give you all of it, but first you need to heal, and you need to learn to protect yourself." "Protect myself how?" "I'm going to teach you to fight." Over the next week, Isabella's life took on a surreal rhythm. Mornings were physical therapy with Dr. Lin, who monitored her healing ribs and slowly increased her activity. Afternoons were combat training with Dante in the penthouse's private gym. He was a patient but demanding teacher. Started with basics: how to fall without injury, how to strike vulnerable points, how to use an attacker's momentum against them. His hands on her body were professional, correcting her stance, guiding her movements. But there was always that undercurrent of something else: awareness, tension. "Pain is just information," he told her on the 3rd day, catching her wrist as she tried to punch him. "It tells you where you are, what you can handle. Fear tries to make you freeze. Don't freeze." "Easy for you to say." "No," his grip tightened just slightly. "I know fear intimately, I just don't let it control me anymore. Again." She tried again, and again, and again, until sweat soaked through her clothes and her muscles screamed and something hard and angry woke up inside her chest. "Good," Dante murmured when she finally landed a solid hit on his ribs. "There she is, the woman who's been buried under Marcus's fists. Let her out, Isabella." She did. She attacked with everything she had, all the rage and terror and humiliation of 4 years pouring out through her fists. He let her, blocking but not countering, until she was crying and hitting him, and he caught her, held her while she broke. "I hate him," she sobbed against his chest. "I hate what he made me." "I know," his voice was soft against her hair, "but you're not that person anymore. You're stronger, you just forgot." Evenings, she played her cello while Dante worked at his desk, making phone calls in 3 languages, managing his empire. Sometimes he'd stop and just listen, his eyes closed, like her music was the only peace he allowed himself. One night, she asked him about the tattoos. He looked up from his laptop, considered her for a moment, then stood and crossed to where she sat with her cello. "Each one tells a story," he said quietly. "This one," he touched the dragon on his forearm, "I got when I took over my father's operations at 23. This," a series of Korean characters on his other arm, "are the names of the men I lost in a territorial dispute 5 years ago. I carry them with me. Remember what loyalty costs." And this, Isabella reached out before she could stop herself, touching a scar that cut through a tattoo on his collarbone. "That's from the night I learned that showing mercy to your enemies gets your people killed." His eyes met hers, dark and haunted. "I don't make that mistake anymore." She should pull away, should remember that this man was dangerous, had killed people, would kill again without hesitation. But his honesty was intoxicating after years of Marcus's lies. "Why me?" she whispered. "Really, there are thousands of abused women in this city. Why am I special?" Dante's hand came up, fingers barely brushing her cheek. Because you played Shostakovich like you understood suffering, and I saw myself in that music. Because you survived 4 years of hell and still had enough fire left to text for help. Because when I look at you, I see something worth burning the world to protect. His thumb traced her lower lip. And because I've never wanted anything the way I want you. The kiss was inevitable, his mouth on hers, gentle at first, then deeper when she didn't pull away. She should stop this, should remember he was her captor, her stalker, dangerous in ways Marcus never was. But Dante's violence was directed outward, protecting rather than destroying her. And God help her, she was so tired of being afraid. She kissed him back. He pulled away first, breathing hard, his control clearly tested. Not yet, he said roughly. Not while you're healing, not while you still think you owe me. I don't think that. Liar, but he smiled slightly. When you kiss me again, I want it to be because you choose to, not because you're grateful or scared or confused. Clear choice, Isabella, that's all I want from you. The next morning, everything shattered. Isabella woke to Dante's phone ringing repeatedly. She heard his voice through the door, sharp and cold. When, a pause, how did they find him? Another pause. I don't care what you have to do, find him now. The bedroom door opened. Dante stood there, still in last night's clothes, his face carved from stone. Get dressed, we have a problem. What kind of problem? Marcus made bail this morning, and your brother Julian is missing. The world tilted. Isabella grabbed the doorframe for support. What do you mean missing? Julian didn't show up for work today. His apartment door was kicked in, signs of a struggle. His phone is off. Dante's jaw clenched. Marcus took him. No, Julian has nothing to do with this. He's leverage. Marcus knows I'm protecting you. He can't get to you here. So he took the next best thing. Dante pulled out his phone, showed her a text message from an unknown number. Trade your brother for my wife. Midnight, come alone or he dies. Isabella's legs gave out. Dante caught her, lowered her to sit on the bed. He won't hurt Julian, she said desperately. He doesn't even know Julian, they've never met. Isabella, Dante's voice was gentle but firm. Marcus is a cornered animal. His career is destroyed, his reputation ruined, and the woman he considered property escaped. He has nothing left to lose. He'll hurt Julian just to hurt you. Then we have to give him what he wants. Me, trade me for Julian. No, the word was absolute. That's not happening. It's my brother. And you're mine. Dante's control cracked just for a moment before he reined it in. I won't trade you back to a man who'll kill you the moment he has you alone. There has to be another way. What other way? You heard him. Come alone or Julian dies. Dante paced, his mind clearly racing through scenarios. Finally he stopped, turned to face her. We don't trade, we take. What? Marcus wants to meet at midnight. He's expecting you alone, scared, willing to sacrifice yourself. Instead he gets me and 20 armed men. We take Julian by force. He'll kill Julian the moment he sees you. Not if he doesn't see us coming. Dante pulled out his phone, started making calls. I need blueprints of the meeting location, thermal imaging equipment and a sniper team. We have 14 hours. Isabella grabbed his arm. This is insane. What if you're wrong? What if Julian dies because we didn't just do what Marcus wanted? Dante's eyes burned into hers. And what happens after the trade? You think Marcus lets you live after you humiliated him, after you destroyed his career? He'll kill you both, Isabella, slowly, painfully, and he'll enjoy it. He cupped her face in his hands. Trust me, please, I've been planning for this. Marcus is predictable, arrogant, thinks he's smarter than everyone. I've been 3 steps ahead of him since the night I took you. Let me save your brother. Let me end this. Isabella closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. Every choice was impossible. Every path led to someone dying. But Dante had come when she texted a wrong number, had destroyed Marcus's career in hours, had taught her to fight and protected her and kissed her like she was precious. Maybe, just maybe, he could do the impossible one more time. Okay, she whispered, okay. The meeting location was an abandoned warehouse at the docks. Cliché but effective. Multiple entry points, lots of places to hide, no witnesses. Dante's team spent the afternoon running surveillance, mapping the interior, identifying Marcus's likely positions. "He'll have backup," Quan, Dante's second-in-command, said as they studied the blueprints. "Other cops, probably, men who owe him favors or who are dirty themselves." "How many?" Isabella asked. She'd insisted on being part of the planning and Dante had reluctantly agreed. "Best guess 4 to 6, plus Marcus." Quan pointed to various locations on the map. "They'll position here, here and here, sniper on the roof if they're smart. Your brother will be in the center, tied to a chair, bait in the trap." "We go in fast and quiet," Dante said. "Neutralize the snipers first, then the ground team. Marcus is mine." "What about Julian?" "The moment shooting starts, 2 of my men extract him. You'll be watching from a safe distance." Dante looked at her. "Non-negotiable, Isabella, you don't go inside." She wanted to argue, but she knew he was right. She'd slow them down, endanger Julian more, so she nodded. At 11:30 they moved into position. Isabella sat in an SUV 2 blocks away, watching the operation unfold on multiple screens. Thermal imaging showed heat signatures inside the warehouse, 6 total including Julian. Dante's voice came through the comms, calm and controlled. "Snipers in position, ground teams ready on my mark." A pause, mark. The screens exploded with movement. Silent takedowns precisely coordinated. Isabella watched heat signatures drop one by one, no shots fired, ghost-like efficiency. Then Marcus's voice crackled through an open channel. "I know you're here, Kang. I could smell your operation a mile away." A pause. "Come out now or I put a bullet in Julian's head." Isabella's heart stopped. On screen she could see Marcus standing over Julian, gun pressed to her brother's temple. Dante stepped into view, hands raised, alone. "Let him go, Marcus. This is between you and me." "Oh no," Marcus's laugh was unhinged. "This is about my wife. Where is she?" "Safe, somewhere you'll never reach her." "She's mine. She married me, made vows." "Vows you broke every time you hit her." Dante's voice was ice. "You're done, Marcus. Career gone, reputation destroyed, facing charges. Let Julian go and walk away. Last chance." Marcus's gun swung toward Dante. "I'd rather die than let you have her." "That," Dante said softly, "can be arranged." The shot came from nowhere. Marcus's hand exploded in red mist, the gun flying away. He screamed, dropping to his knees. Dante's sniper, perfect precision. Then Dante's team flooded in, securing Marcus, cutting Julian free. It was over in seconds. Isabella was out of the SUV and running before anyone could stop her, sprinting the 2 blocks to the warehouse. She burst through the door to find Julian alive, shaken but whole, being checked by a medic. "Bella," he grabbed her, held tight. "Oh God, I thought he was going to kill me. He kept saying he'd kill me just to hurt you." "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." She was crying, holding her baby brother like she could shield him from everything. "This is all my fault." "No," Dante appeared beside them, his suit somehow still immaculate despite the violence. "This is Marcus's fault, and it ends tonight." Marcus was on his knees, his hand wrapped in bloody cloth, surrounded by Dante's men. Police sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. "The police are coming," Isabella said. "My police," Dante corrected. "Clean cops I've been cultivating for situations exactly like this. They'll find Marcus Chen, wanted suspect, holding a civilian hostage. They'll find his dirty cop friends who helped him. And they'll find enough evidence of corruption to put them all away for 20 years. He turned to Marcus, crouched down to meet his eyes. "You had one job, Marcus, protect and serve. You failed, and now you lose everything." Marcus spat at him. "She'll never be yours." Isabella's weak, broken. "I made her that way." Dante's smile was terrible. "No, you tried to break her. But some things, the more you try to break them, the stronger they become. You never understood that, it's why you lose." The police arrived, clean detectives who immediately took Marcus into custody. As they led him away, Marcus locked eyes with Isabella one final time. "This isn't over," he snarled. Isabella stepped forward and Dante let her. "Yes," she said quietly. "It is. You don't own me anymore, Marcus. I'm not your wife. I'm not your victim. I'm not your anything. You're just a pathetic man who thought control was love, and now you have neither." She turned her back on him, took Dante's offered hand and walked away. "If this story has you on the edge of your seat, drop a comment below telling me what you think happens next. And don't forget to like this video because this final chapter is going to blow your mind. The weeks following Marcus's arrest blurred together in a strange mixture of relief and uncertainty. Julian recovered at Dante's penthouse, occupying one of the guest rooms until he felt safe enough to return to his own life. He and Dante formed an unlikely friendship, bonding over chess matches and dry humor that Isabella never quite understood. Marcus remained in jail, denied bail after the hostage situation. His brother Raymond faced federal charges for evidence tampering. The entire precinct was under investigation. Every day brought new revelations, more victims coming forward, a pattern of abuse and corruption that stretched back years. Isabella should have felt free. Instead, she felt suspended, waiting for the other shoe to drop. She spent her days training with Dante. What had started as basic self-defense evolved into something more: Krav Maga, knife work, tactical awareness. He pushed her harder each session until she could disarm him half the time, until her body moved with confidence she'd forgotten she possessed. Again, Dante said one afternoon, circling her on the mat. Sweat dripped down both their faces. They'd been at this for 2 hours. Isabella was exhausted, but she attacked anyway. He blocked, countered, and she used his momentum to throw him. They hit the mat hard, her knee on his chest. Her training knife at his throat. "Better," he said, breathing hard. Pride flickered in his eyes. "You're not the woman who sent that text anymore." "No," she pressed the rubber blade slightly harder. "I'm not." Something shifted between them in that moment. The awareness that had been building for weeks crystallized into inevitability. His hand came up, cupped the back of her neck, pulled her down into a kiss that was all heat and hunger and held back need. This time he didn't pull away. This time she didn't let him. They made love on the training mat like they'd been fighting, intense and consuming. 4 years of Isabella's suppressed desire meeting 5 years of Dante's obsessive patience. Afterward, lying tangled together, his fingers traced the fading bruises on her ribs. "I want to kill him," Dante said quietly. "Every time I see these marks, I want to walk into that jail and end him." "But you won't." "No, because you need him to face justice the right way. To be convicted, sentenced, locked away where everyone knows what he did. That matters to you, so it matters to me." Isabella propped herself up on her elbow, studying his face. "You've killed people." "Yes." "How many?" "Enough that I stopped counting." His eyes met hers, unflinching. "I won't lie to you, Isabella. My hands are covered in blood. I've done things that would make you run screaming, but I've never hurt anyone who didn't deserve it, and I've never touched an innocent." "And you think that makes it okay?" "No, but it makes it necessary." He sat up, reaching for his shirt. "The world isn't black and white, it's grey and messy and cruel. Men like Marcus exist in the light, wearing badges, hiding behind laws. Men like me exist in the shadows, enforcing different rules. Neither is right, but at least I'm honest about what I am." Isabella pulled on her clothes, thinking. Marcus is going to trial next month. The prosecutor says it's a strong case. Assault, kidnapping, corruption charges. He could get 20 years. "He'll get 15, serve 10 with good behavior." Dante's voice was flat. "And then he'll come looking for you." "Maybe, or maybe 10 years in prison will break him the way he tried to break me." "Maybe," but Dante didn't sound convinced. That night Isabella couldn't sleep. She wandered the penthouse, ending up in the music room. Her cello waited, silent and patient. She sat, drew the bow across strings and let the music pour out. She played Shostakovich, the same concerto Dante had heard 5 years ago, but this time the notes were different, still raw, still painful, but threaded with something new. Strength, survival, the sound of someone who'd been broken and refused to stay that way. When she finished, she found Dante standing in the doorway. How long he'd been there she didn't know. "Beautiful," he said softly. "It's different than before." "You're different than before." He crossed to her, knelt so they were eye level. "I need to tell you something. There's a charity gala in 2 weeks. High society, old money, the people who run this city from behind the scenes. I'm invited every year, I never go." "Why tell me this?" "Because this year I want to go, and I want you with me." His eyes searched hers. "Marcus's trial starts the next day. The media will be everywhere, his lawyers will try to paint you as a liar, and the system will do what it always does. Grind you down, make you relive every terrible moment." "I can handle it." "I know you can, But I want to give you something first. A night where you're not a victim, not a survivor, not Marcus Chen's battered wife. Just Isabella Reeves, brilliant cellist, beautiful woman, someone who commands a room because she deserves to. Isabella's throat tightened. You want me to perform? Only if you want to. The organizers have been trying to book you for years, since before Marcus. I made some calls, they'd be honored. He took her hand. Let the city see you. Let them remember who you were before Marcus and who you're becoming after. Take back your narrative. It was terrifying, exposing herself to hundreds of people, playing in public after years of hiding. But God, she missed it. Missed the stage, the music, the feeling of connecting with an audience through notes and emotion. Okay, she whispered, yes. Dante's smile was pure triumph. The 2 weeks passed in a flurry of preparation. Isabella practiced until her fingers bled, relearning repertoire she'd abandoned. Dante had a gown made for her, midnight blue silk that hugged her body like water. When she tried it on, she barely recognized herself. Strong shoulders from training, confident posture, eyes that met their own reflection without flinching. The night of the gala, Dante wore a tuxedo that probably cost more than her old car, his hair slicked back, looking every inch the dangerous prince he was. They arrived in a black town car, stepping out into a sea of camera flashes. Dante Kang, reporters shouted. Who's your date? Is it true you're connected to the Marcus Chen case? Dante ignored them all, his hand possessively on Isabella's lower back as they walked the red carpet. Inside, the ballroom was stunning. Crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains, the city's elite in their finest. People stared, whispered. Isabella heard fragments. That's her, the wife. She's with Dante Kang now. I heard she's performing tonight. Dante leaned close, his breath warm against her ear. Let them talk. By the end of tonight, they'll only remember your music. Julian was already inside, looking uncomfortable in a suit but smiling when he saw Isabella. You look amazing, Bella. Thanks for coming. Wouldn't miss it. Someone has to make sure Dante doesn't murder anyone who looks at you wrong. He glanced at Dante. He's been glaring at that guy over there for 5 minutes. That guy, Dante said mildly, is a city councilman who votes against domestic violence funding while having 3 restraining orders against him. He's lucky glaring is all I'm doing. The evening proceeded with dinner, speeches, silent auction items. Isabella barely tasted her food, nerves building as her performance time approached. Then the MC took the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special performance tonight. A cellist who needs no introduction, returning to the stage after a too long absence. Please welcome Isabella Reeves. The applause was thunderous. Isabella stood, feeling hundreds of eyes on her as she walked to the stage. Her cello waited, spotlit and perfect. She sat, positioned the instrument, took a breath. And played. She chose Elgar's cello concerto, the piece she'd played at her Juilliard audition a lifetime ago. Mournful and powerful, a meditation on loss and resilience. Her fingers flew across the strings, the bow moving like an extension of her soul. She played for the girl who'd given up her scholarship for love, for the woman who'd survived 4 years of hell, for every moment of pain and every small act of defiance. She played Marcus's rage and Dante's obsessive devotion, and her own complicated, messy journey from victim to survivor to something new. The audience disappeared. There was only the music, pouring out of her like blood from a wound that was finally healing. When the last note faded, the silence lasted 3 heartbeats. Then the entire ballroom rose in a standing ovation. People were crying, shouting bravos, the applause went on and on. Isabella looked out into the crowd and found Dante. He stood apart from the others, not clapping, just watching her with an expression that stole her breath. Pride, possession, love so fierce it was almost frightening. She'd played for herself, but she'd also played for him, the man who'd come when she texted a wrong number, who'd burned down her abuser's life with surgical precision, who taught her to fight and kissed her like she was precious and waited with inhuman patience for her to choose him. She chose him. After the performance, Isabella was mobbed by well-wishers, concert promoters pressing business cards into her hands, society matrons gushing praise, musicians she'd admired offering collaborations. The music director of the city orchestra pulled her aside. Isabella, that was extraordinary. We have an opening for principal cellist. I know you haven't performed in years, but if you're interested. I'm very interested. The words came out confidently, certainly. Send me the details." As the crowd finally thinned, Dante materialized at her side with 2 glasses of champagne. "You were magnificent. I was rusty. You were perfect." He guided her toward a quiet balcony overlooking the city. "Every person in that room will remember tonight, not because of the charity, not because of the food or the wealthy donors, because of you." Isabella sipped her champagne, feeling the bubbles dance on her tongue. "Thank you for this, for everything." "You don't need to thank me." "Yes, I do. You saved my life, Dante, and then you gave it back to me." He set down his glass, turned to face her fully. The city lights glittered behind him like stars. "I need to tell you something. Marcus's trial starts tomorrow. The prosecution's case is strong, but trials are unpredictable. There's a chance he walks." Isabella's stomach dropped. "You said he'd be convicted." "Probably, but not certainly." Dante's jaw clenched. "If he walks, Isabella, if that jury lets him go, I won't wait for him to come after you. I'll end him. Permanently. No trials, no appeals, no second chances." "That's murder." "That's protection." His eyes burned into hers. "I told you from the beginning I have no moral boundaries when it comes to keeping you safe. I meant it." Isabella should be horrified, should tell him no, that she wanted justice the right way, that she believed in the system. But she'd believed in the system for 4 years while Marcus beat her and the police covered for him. The system had failed her repeatedly. Dante hadn't. "If he walks," she said slowly, "and you do what you're planning, there's no coming back from that. You'd be a murderer." "I'm already a murderer, Isabella. This would just be one more body, but this one would matter. This one would be for you." She reached up, cupped his face in her hands. "I don't want you to go to prison for me." "I won't. I'm very good at what I do." His smile was cold. "But I need you to know, to understand what being with me means. It means grey morality, bloody hands, a man who will kill to protect what's his. Can you live with that?" Isabella thought about Marcus's fists, the hospital visits, the fear that had been her constant companion, the system that had failed her 7 times. And then she thought about Dante, who'd come with soldiers and precision and absolute certainty, who'd destroyed her abuser's life and taught her to fight and looked at her like she was something precious and fierce. "Yes," she said, "I can live with that." He kissed her then, deep and claiming, his hands tangling in her hair. When they broke apart, he pulled something from his pocket, a small black box. Isabella's heart stopped. "This isn't a proposal," Dante said quickly. "Not yet. You're not ready and neither am I, but it's a promise." He opened the box. Inside, a ring, not a diamond but a black stone set in platinum, beautiful and dark and unusual. "Black diamond," he explained. "Rare, valuable and harder than anything else on earth, like you." He took her hand, slid the ring onto her right hand, not her left. "It means you're under my protection, that anyone who tries to hurt you answers to me, that you're mine and I'm yours and no force on this earth will change that." "Dante, you don't have to wear it if you don't want to. I just need you to know. Whatever happens tomorrow, whatever the trial brings, whatever comes next, you're not alone anymore. You have me, all of me, the good, the bad and the bloody." Isabella looked at the ring on her finger, black as midnight, catching the light like captured stars. It should feel like another cage. Instead, it felt like armor. "I want to wear it," she whispered. His smile was pure possession. The trial lasted 3 days. Isabella testified for 6 hours, reliving every terrible moment while Marcus's lawyers tried to paint her as vindictive, as a liar, as an unstable woman trying to destroy a good cop's career. But the evidence was overwhelming. Medical records, body camera footage, witness testimony. Even Marcus's own fellow officers turned on him once they understood the extent of his corruption. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Isabella sat in the courtroom, Dante's hand gripping hers, and watched Marcus Chen's face as the verdict was read. He didn't cry or rage or break down. He just stared at her with flat, dead eyes that promised, even now, that this wasn't over. The judge sentenced him to 20 years. With good behavior, he'd serve 15. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Isabella made a brief statement, thanking the jury, the prosecution, and the other victims who'd come forward. She didn't mention Dante, but he stood just behind her, visible in every photograph. A silent, dangerous promise. That night, back at the penthouse, they opened champagne. Julian joined them, raising his glass in a toast. To justice, and to my badass sister who took on the system and won. To justice, Isabella echoed, but her eyes were on Dante. Later, after Julian left, after the adrenaline faded and reality set in, Isabella found herself on the balcony again. Dante joined her, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders. 15 years, she said quietly. I'll be 43 when he gets out. You'll be 43 and strong and surrounded by people who would die to protect you. Dante pulled her against his chest. And Marcus will be a broken old man who wasted the best years of his life in a cage. That's justice. What if it's not enough? What if he gets out and comes after me anyway? Then I'll be there, waiting. His arms tightened around her. I told you, Isabella, I'm offering you vengeance and devotion, empire and protection. I meant it. Marcus Chen doesn't get to haunt you forever. I won't allow it. Isabella leaned back into his warmth, feeling safe for the first time in years. Not because of locked doors or security systems, but because she'd found someone who matched her broken pieces with his own. Someone who saw her damage and didn't flinch. What happens now? She asked. Now you live. You take that principal cellist position. You perform and create and remember who you were before Marcus tried to erase you. And I run my empire and keep you safe and learn everything else about you that I don't already know. That's very domestic for a crime lord. His laugh rumbled against her back. I'm a man of contradictions. I can negotiate arms deals in the morning and attend your concerts at night. I contain multitudes. She turned in his arms, meeting his eyes, moved the ring to my left hand. He went very still. Isabella. You said it wasn't a proposal. Make it one. You're sure this life, my world, it's dangerous, dark. There's no going back once you fully commit. I texted a wrong number and got you. Fate or accident or whatever you want to call it, but I choose this, I choose you. She touched his face, feeling the stubble rough against her palm. You're offering me vengeance and devotion. I'm accepting all of it. The empire, the danger, the morally grey decisions, because you came when I called and you gave me back myself. Dante kissed her slowly, thoroughly, like he was memorizing her. Then he took the black diamond ring off her right hand and slid it onto her left. It caught the light, beautiful and dark and perfect. Then yes, he said softly. Yes to everything. You're mine, Isabella Reeves, and I'm yours until death or prison or the end of the world. Very romantic. I'm not a romantic man, but I'm a devoted one, you'll never doubt that. She couldn't, because Dante Kang was many things, dangerous and obsessive and morally compromised, but he was also absolutely, completely hers. 3 months later, Marcus Chen died in prison. Officially a heart attack. Unofficially, Isabella knew better. She saw it in the way Dante barely reacted to the news, in the satisfied glint in Quan's eyes, in the way the entire organization seemed to exhale in relief. She should ask, should demand to know if Dante had ordered it, if her abuser's death was on her conscience now too, but she didn't, because Marcus Chen had stolen 4 years of her life, had broken her body and tried to break her spirit, and his death meant she could finally, truly breathe free. That night she played her cello at the city orchestra's opening night. The principal cellist position was hers, and she wore it like armor. The black diamond ring glinted on her finger under the stage lights, and in the front row, Dante watched with those intense, possessing eyes. After the performance, she found him backstage with flowers, the traditional roses but also peonies, her actual favorite that he'd somehow discovered. You were extraordinary. You say that every time. Because it's true every time. He pulled her close, kissed her temple. How does it feel being back? Like coming home, she admitted. Like finding a piece of myself I thought Marcus had destroyed forever. He destroyed nothing, just hid it. You found it again. Dante's hand rested possessively on her hip. And now the whole city knows. Isabella Reeves isn't a victim. She's a survivor who became a warrior who became herself again. She kissed him, not caring about the stage crew watching, the other musicians pretending not to notice. Let them see, let them know that she belonged to this dangerous, devoted man, and he belonged to her. Take me home, she murmured against his lips. Home, he repeated like the word was new. I like that, our home. They left the concert hall hand in hand, the city lights reflecting off her black diamond ring, 2 damaged people who'd found each other through violence and obsession and chose to stay through love. It wasn't a fairy tale. Dante would always be a criminal, would always have blood on his hands. Isabella would always carry the scars of her abuse, physical and emotional, but they'd found something real in the darkness, something worth fighting for. And in the end, that was enough. If this story moved you, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment telling me what you thought about Isabella and Dante's journey, and subscribe because I have more stories like this that will keep you absolutely captivated. Remember, sometimes the wrong number turns out to be exactly the right person. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.